Okay, so Vaughn Davis, welcome to your office. I like it. So Vaughn, first off, thanks for having us.
Thanks
really
for
nice
coming
to
by.
be here and nice to talk to you. I really like this sign because I think that to me encapsulates you quite nicely. No stopping at all times.
Yeah, I just saw that in a junk shop on Ponsonby Road, and I thought it does kind of encapsulate my approach to life. I once read something that a very clever man wrote, who is also me, that owning your own business gives you the complete freedom to work every hour of every day, and that's kind of the approach I've taken for the last 7 or 8 years. Okay,
Vaughn. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is really get a bit of a sense about you and then talk a little bit about career reinvention. And as we've talked about before, one of the things that strikes me right now is that people who are sort of hitting their 40s and 50s and beyond are not exactly having a crisis of confidence, but really it's more about, okay, what does next look like? We're all expecting not to retire at 65. I don't know, to me that just sounds like curl up your toes, it'd be terrible. But at the same time, a lot of folks are thinking, I don't want to continue to work at the pace or the level that I do now for a variety of reasons. So it's a bit of a watershed moment in life. Things change. It can be families, it can be relationships, and people really start to reflect on what does next look like for me. Now, some people have an idea of what that might look like. Other people have no idea and really don't know where to start, which is where I come in, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So really to go back before we go forward. Now, you've had a fascinating career, starting out as a Air Force pilot for 11 years, which obviously, Air Force, very structured and very left brain being a pilot, very regimented. I keep doing this because I feel it's quite constrained. And then, of course, when we first met, you were a creative director at an advertising agency, writing as your tool of trade. So through the progression, you spent about a decade there, and then over time, you've started your own very successful business. You've also branched into media, so you're a media commentator, you have your own radio show. So you kind of got it all going on, and you've got that sort of portfolio career thing happening. Take us through, I think for me the really interesting and natural place to start is Air Force pilot, copywriter. How did that happen?
Yeah, the word you were searching for is
Not on my show, we're not.
So there are a lot of differences between being an Air Force pilot and creative director or copywriter, and a lot of similarities, so which I'll jump into, but the transition from the two. So I decided when I was 5 years old that I'd become an Air Force pilot, as a lot of 5-year-olds did. Unlike most of them, I stuck with the idea. So at 17, left Lower Hutt, went to the Air Force, and that was me for the next 11 years. And I faced a crossroads at what I thought was a very old age of 28. What was then the end of my Air Force career. I was given the opportunity to instruct, which sounds great, be an instructor, I'd love to do that. But the sort of the poison pill was that you had to go and live in Ohio for 3 years. And after flying around the world in my C-130 and waking up and seeing a new war on the news and getting to go there the next day, flying around Foxton didn't really appeal that much. So I thought, well, what would I like to do? What am I good at? What sort of place would I like to work? And it was quite methodical. It was like that old book, What Colour Is Your Parachute? At the time I had a parachute. It was white with one orange segment and a green segment. So the question was, that's a regimented left brain answer, isn't it? I suppose.
Absolutely.
The literal approach.
Did you go green or did you go orange?
Yeah, that's,
clearly orange.
Clearly I went orange, but I'm sitting on a green chair. So I could have gone.
On the fence.
Yeah. And I thought, I could be an airline pilot. So I did the multi-choice exam, which breaks my heart to tell you that it is a multi-choice exam to become an airline pilot. So I must have fluked it. So I've got my airline pilot's license just in case, but I thought, I don't really want to do that. It's going to the same place every time, same hotel, same plane.
So that's your commercial license?
Yes, right. That's my fallback, is my airline pilot's license, but I've never had to use it. And then I thought, what else have I done in my life that I like and what do I enjoy? And it came down to things like writing. writing the squadron newsletter, or at university I was on the student newspaper in Canterbury, sort of writing in cartoons and photography. I thought, oh, can you make a living out of that sort of stuff? And I sort of thought, well, clearly you can. And it came down to either advertising or journalism, and then I looked into how much money you might make in either of those things, and I've worked in advertising ever since.
Understandably. So thinking about how you actually went through that process, you said it was quite methodical. Tools, tips, techniques to make a decision like that. It's clearly different in your 20s than it is in your 40s, 50s, 60s, with other responsibilities, I get that, but the process that you used, talk to me a little bit about the process, any tools, any techniques.
Yeah. So the absolute key tip is to look beyond your job description. So whatever your job is, you will have picked up a heck of a lot of skills along the way that do not relate to what your job is. So I was a pilot, but as part of becoming a pilot in the Air Force, you do training in communication, you do training in leadership, you do training in standing up and giving talks to people, which, as you'll remember, as an ex-client, being spoken to by a creative director is it's part of our job, right?
Yeah.
You stand up and you get
you need to be able to present.
Yeah, get a message across simply. So no matter what job you're in, there will be stuff. I don't know. Let's say you're a printer. There's a lot of stuff you learn being a printer that's got nothing to do with printing, and in those things might be the seeds of what you do next.